I know. We're done. Hey, Sivan, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a little while. Remind me where you work? Oh, that's right. I remember that now. Yeah, that's right. Sessions. You're about. I'm not going to see a whole lot of you for a couple months. So, I hope I do, but I understand. All my legislator friends, I don't see them. Sir, from January to March, I don't see them much. So, well, except if I'm up visiting them at the Capitol. So, all right. Well, Shabbat Shalom. We'll get started. I'm going to we'll just go. Shalom Aleichem Malahei Ashar Malahei Elyon Mi Melech Malahei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malahei HaShalom Malahei Elyon Mi Melech Malach Melachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruchuni L'Shalom Malei HaShalom Malei Elyon Mi Melech Malei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzedchem L'Shalom Malei HaShalom Malei Elyon Mi Melech Malei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Turn back to 138 for Lehadodi. Lehadodi Likrat Kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Shahamor v'zachor bedibur echad Ishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shemo tiferet v'litila Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lehadodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lehuven elha Ki hi mekor habracha Meherosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machashavati la Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5 Itoreri Kiva ore kumiori uri shir daberi kevadanai alaich nigla lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. We'll rise and face the entrance to greet Shabbat. Bohoi v'shalom aterebala gam besimcha uvetzahala toch emune am segula boi chala lecha dodi likra kala Pene Shabbat nekabela lehadodi likra kala Pene Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. Let's see here. Susan, good to see you. Do you want to light our candles? Would you do the honors? Oh, well, I trust you. I'll start the match. You're always such a good friend, and so you help bring light into my life. I would love to give you that honor. If you need another match, let me know. Don't burn yourself. There you go. Here, how about I get you a new match? I don't want you to burn yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one you might need a light again. So very long wick. I can do that one if you want. There you go. Perfect. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav etzevanu lehadlik ner lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat. Man. Thank you, Susan. And we'll turn to the Hatzi Kaddish, 144. Yikada, Yikada, Shemei Rabba, Be'amad Ivrach Irtevim Mechmapute, Bechayehon, Uv Yomechon, Uv Hayedeho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, Bagala, Uvis Mahankari, Imeru, Amen. Yeshme Rabba Mevora, Le'alam Me'omaya, Yitbarach, V'ishtabach, V'ipar, V'yitramah, V'yinaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemita Kudusha, B'rehu, Le'elam, Mikol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbehata V'nemata, Dahamiram Be'alma, V'meru, Amen. We will rise in body or in spirit. Page 146 for the Baruch Hu. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach. seated. Page 148. Let's read as we have a lot of change going on always, and tomorrow is the first official day of winter, so maybe we'll start getting some snow. But also, this upcoming week, we of course have Hanukkah. So let's read at the bottom of page 149 together. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hamariv aravim. Page 150. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shabenu Uvkumeinu nasiach behukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha Uvmitzvotecha le'olam Ki hem ha'u ve'omeinu Nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, ve'achasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'lechtecha avaderech u'shachbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu litotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzah beitecha uvihisharecha leman tizkeruhu vasitem ekol mitzvotai vitem kidoshim leloehem Ani Adonai Elohehem asher hotzeiti ethem meretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohehem Adonai Elohehem Emet. One of the things that we learn in science, talk science for a minute, physics, you learn that for every action there is a reaction. And many of us have heard of the butterfly effect, where supposedly the effect of a butterfly flapping its wings can make a difference to something on the other side of the earth. I remember as a kid, we were talking in science class about how basically if you take a cup of water and you put some ice in it, it looks like the water level rises because the ice is in it now. And somebody, I remember, asked our science teacher, said, well, Mr. Neal, if I toss a rock into the ocean, does that change the level of the ocean? He said, well, no. And we said, it doesn't? And he said, well, I guess technically it does. Not any amount you could measure, but technically it does. Like everything you do matters in some way and creates some difference in the world. And what we saw when our people were leaving Egypt was there were supposedly 600,000 men of fighting age. So if we include women and we include people of non-fighting age, I'm guessing there's over 1 million people. And they all stood there on the shores of the sea, not knowing whether to go forward or backwards, and sitting there, and as Jews do, arguing with each other. What should we do? Should we go back? Should we go forward? Should we stay right here? And what our Midrash teaches us is that there was one guy, Nachshon, who decided not to just sit around and argue, but to actually be a person of action and a forward-thinking person. And he ran forward through the arguing crowd and jumped into the water. And when he did, he disappeared. And everybody was like, well, that was weird. I wonder, is that the end of Nachshon? And then he popped up out of the water. And he said the words, Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai. And who is like you, Adonai our God? And when he did that, that is when the sea split and our people ran to freedom. So, for each of us, we can think about how each of us are individuals. Maybe what we do doesn't seem to make a profound difference on an everyday level. But by taking an action, like Nachshon did, we can create a reaction that can change the world, that led our people to the freedom that we have today. So try and think about this week, what are some challenges in the world, and what tiny action can you take to maybe save the world? We are on page 158. Mi hamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bohokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze Elianu ve'amru, Ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimlo le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimlo le'olam va'ed. Page 160. We'll do the first couple lines and then jump to the indentation as we enter winter, asking God to watch over everyone in our community and everyone out there who is particularly vulnerable. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Behamidenu Shomrei Nulehayim. Page 162. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam. Ve'eni uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam Oti le'olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Page 164. We'll rise in body or in spirit for the Amidah. Adonai sefatai tifta ufia gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Imaot Umevi Gila Livnei V'Nehem Leman Shemo Be'ava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Le'Oshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechalkel Chaim Behesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Holim Umatir Asurim Omekahayem Emunato Lishene Afar Mihamo Habal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Meimi Umehaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman Atalecha Hayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye HaKol. 170. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yechalilu Chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. I'll invite you to continue reading page 172 through 180, and or you can use this as an opportunity for your own prayers and reflections. And when you are finished, you may be seated. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Yahase shalom, Yahase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yahase shalom, Yahase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Eru, amen. We are going to turn our thoughts now to those who are in need of healing of the mind, body, and spirit, and those who are in a period of recovery as well. This week we think of these members of our community and their loved ones. Gitalea bat Mashahana, Myron Yisrael ben Rachel, Daniel Meir ben Chaya Etia, Baruch ben Sarah, Itkafega bat Gittel, Gila Chaya bat Mordechai Leib v'Gilalea, Tova Chava bat Chaya Ruchel, Tzvi ben Benjamin, Rachel Liba bat Moshe Menachem Mendel v'Gittel, Gittel bat Bela, Sarah Bell, Lois Dobrin, David Dowsett, Angela Eno, Martin Goffin, Fran Lappin, Tanner Light, Megan Magleby, Marshall Saunders, Penny Spector, Dina Stern, good to see you here. It's been a while and we're so happy to see you here, always praying for you. Michael Winston, and Judy Wolf. And if you have a name to add as well while looking in your direction, please feel free to share with us. That's his. Sharon Grimm and Masha Bat Abraham. Good. Thank you. And if you're watching on our live stream, you can also share a name. Page 371. middle of the page. Middle of 371. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habraha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habraha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. As a father now, I love spoiling my daughters, especially Hanukkah's next week. I'm sure they will get between me and my wife and also the grandparents a ton of stuff. And it's fun. It's fun to see their faces light up. And also, currently, so I have a 3-year-old and a soon-to-be 2-year-old, 3.5-year-old and soon-to-be 2-year-old. And they've now gone to the age where they fight with each other some, or talk back, or push, or do those things, or fight over toys. I call my 3-year-old my three-nager, because she has a lot of opinions, a lot of motions and such. And yet, despite that, I still, I hate getting them in trouble. I hate punishing them or anything. I love to spoil them. My wife says I give them way too much ice cream and things like that. I think, too, about how when I was a kid, we had these family friends who were Christian, and we would go over to their house for Christmas Eve dinner every year, and they'd come over to our house for a night of Hanukkah every year. And their kids, they spoiled their kids so much. Their kids got always had PlayStation, Nintendo, a Xbox, and a TV in their room. I had everything. And then I remember when one of their kids turned 16, she got a brand new car, but it wasn't the exact one she wanted, and she yelled at her parents and all this stuff after they just bought her a car. And over the years, and then they constantly got in trouble with the law too. These kids would get in trouble for drinking and driving. They would get in trouble at school, and so on and so forth. And what became kind of a regular occurrence when they were teenagers at their Christmas Eve dinner, and it just came to expected, was at some point in the dinner, they would get upset with their parents, stand up and shout some obscenity of their parents in front of the guests, and storm off. And storm out of the room and slam their door. And one year they did this as predictable. The daughter did this as predictable. She was about 17 years old, I think, at the time, threw a complete tantrum, stormed off and slammed the door. And I remember her dad just sighing and looking at his plate, and he said, "Well, I spoiled my kids rotten, and that's what they became." And that stuck with me. And sometimes, even when we're well-intentioned, there's consequences for our actions. And just the other day, I was talking to somebody who said, I think I'm going to make this decision. And I said, I don't know if that's the right decision. And this person said, I think it's the right decision. I said, but is that the kind decision? Well, no, but it's what I want to do. And are you telling me I shouldn't do it? Are you trying to tell me what to do? I said, you do what you want, but as somebody who cares about you and your friend, I think you should probably I feel a responsibility to tell you, make a kind decision. And kind of stuck with that person. And I think about all this in the context of this week's Torah portion too. Because in this week's Torah portion, you have some family drama. You have Jacob's 12 sons. And Jacob does something a parent shouldn't do. He favors one of his sons over the rest, Joseph. Now, I'm going to be honest. Now that I'm a parent of multiple children, there are some days where I like this one way more than that one, and other days I like that one way more than this one, and then there's some days I like them both the same, and then there's some days that I'm not really a fan of either of them. So, but for the most part, even on the days where I like this one more than that one or vice versa, try not to let them know that I'm feeling a little closer to this kid today or a little closer to that kid tomorrow. But instead, make them both feel loved. And because of his deep love for his son Joseph, Jacob got Joseph this beautiful coat. People know this story thanks to fellow Utah Donnie Osmond. He got him this coat, beautiful coat of many colors. And Joseph, though, proudly wore it around and, in a way, bragged to his brothers how he was the favorite and created animosity and a breakdown of Shalom Bait. And this then led to his brothers wanting to literally kill him. They decided instead, you know what? Let's be nice. Let's beat him up, fake his death, tear up that coat, and sell him into slavery because we're compassionate. But so we won't kill him. So that's what they did. And you saw, though, I think when we look at Jacob's actions, he didn't have ill intent. He probably had this coat, said, I love Joseph so much and this coat would mean a lot to him. Let me give it to him. But he didn't think about the consequences of even doing something kind and how that would feel to other people. Kind of like you learned as a kid, if I was having a birthday party or something and I wasn't inviting the whole class, how I wouldn't publicly invite certain kids and not other kids. Or here, they've had this policy, which I don't know if they should have, because at the end of the day, what you do outside the synagogue is your business. But the rule predating me here was always, if you're going to invite one kid in the religious school to your bar mitzvah party or whatever, invite all the kids. And I don't know if I agree with that rule. However, that rule came into place because I guess one year there was a kid who invited all the kids except for one to the party. And that really hurt that kid's feelings. And so for each and every one of us, when we are in a moment of making a decision, we need to think about the consequences of that decision and what the ripple effect will be. In this past week, we had some excitement in our community, I'll put it that way, with some changing of the bylaws, and this promoted a lot of discussion and debate about what the right way forward for the community was. And some folks said, basically, I don't think anybody was ill-intentioned in doing this, but because there were people who had strongly held views, I heard things of, if if these bylaws don't pass, it's going to destroy our community in this way, this way, this way. And other people saying, if they do pass, this will be the end of our synagogue, wherever. And now that the bylaws passed, we're dealing with the fallout of that, where people, I think, were trying to make an argument for what they felt was the right way forward for our community. But in choosing the way that they did that and spreading some fear or anger, then when one thing happened and the other thing didn't, that fear continued to sow. I've heard this is going to be the consequence. And that created consequences in itself. And now we have to pick up a little bit of the damage of that from our own internal fighting. And so, what we can learn from Jacob here is I think Jacob probably was reacting in a way from feeling rejected by his own father, who favored his brother, Esau, over him. Was saying, I want to shower my son with love, but didn't realize he was repeating the same pattern from his father and his father's father of creating animosity between brothers through picking a favorite. Even when we have the best of intentions in what we're doing, we always have to think one step further and ask ourselves, will there be fallout and consequences that I'm not seeing right now from what I'm doing? And then we're going to have to pick up the pieces. So let's all try and be mindful of that, even when we think we're being kind. Shabbat Shalom. Some announcements. Cantor Davis, as you might have noticed, is not here this evening. He is representing our community elsewhere at Interfaith thing tonight, so thank you to Cantor for doing that. We are right now in kind of the final week and a half of our High Holiday Annual Appeal, and we are really appreciative of your donation. We budget for this, and if we don't hit our number, it has some consequences of what we're able to do. And so every single dollar donated is meaningful and appreciated, and we would love it if this is the year we got 100% participation. We're really getting close to our budgeted goal, so thank you. And join the religious school in KG this Sunday at 10 a.m. for our annual Hanukkah party. Enjoy a fun morning of latkes, sufganiyot, games, a raffle, and more. There will be no regular classes on this day, and parents must attend with their children. No unattended children. As they often say, unattended children will be given a shot of espresso and a puppy, and then you can deal with the consequences. And while there's no cost for Kolami members, guests can join for $5 a person if you're not a member of Kolami. On Wednesday evening, December 24th, everyone is that's a mistake. That should be December 25th. On Wednesday evening, December 25th, everyone is invited to celebrate the first night of Hanukkah at Kolami with a family-friendly game night, latkes, and a Chinese dinner cooked by yours truly. There are some traditions at Kolami that I have started and that I will continue as long as I'm here, and that one of those is rabbi cooking traditional Jewish Christmas dinner with Chinese food. But please RSVP by tomorrow night if you want to come. Otherwise, no Chinese food for you. So we gotta have a head count. When 200 people show up unannounced, we run out of food, and then you get cranky Jews, and we don't want that. Thursday night, we will have our young adults, vodka and latkes, for folks between the ages of 21 and 40. And please RSVP for that. Always fun. So I'll be Thursday night. And make sure you mark down these upcoming Hanukkah events on your calendar. December 27th is our special Shabbat and Hanukkah service, followed by a dinner in the shul. Bring your Hanukkah if you have one, and some candles, and we can all light our menorahs together. And dinner will be cooked by Dov Delay. So RSVP for that so we can make sure that we have dinner. Otherwise, if we get no RSVPs, we cancel the dinner because we're like, oh, nobody's showing up. And then people go, oh, I came hungry. And we're like, then RSVP. We would have had dinner. And December 29th, join this group KG, but it's really open for everyone of all ages at Mill Creek Commons for our annual ice skating and candle lighting with Mill Creek Mayor Jeff Silvestrini. And on December 30th, we are going to have our candle lighting downtown City Hall with Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall. So come check that out. That's fun. And always, especially when the mayor of Salt Lake City is hosting us for such an event, we want to have a good turnout. And so please come join us for that. And thank the mayor for both Mayor Silvestrini of Mill Creek on the 29th and Mayor Mendenhall on the 30th for really doing something to help bring representation to our community and get to meet the mayor and stuff. She would be thrilled. She's a good friend, and as is Mayor Silvestrini. They're both great people, and we want to thank them for taking their time to help celebrate Hanukkah with us. And speaking of Hanukkah, finally, just if you could donate to our Hanukkah for All fundraiser, this is something we do to make sure that every child in our community and every senior in our community are able to enjoy the holidays, whether they can afford presents or not. So we're grateful for any support for that. And thank you all for being here. We are going to move into the concluding part of our service. Page 586 at the bottom of the page. And once again, I will invite you to rise in body or in spirit. Aleinu l'shabech ladon hakol, la'tekidu la'liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoe aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam helkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim v'yosed haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al u'shchinatu zo b'govhei merahomim hu Eloheinu einod emem malkeinu evezulato kakatuv b'torato Vidatayam v'hashivota elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim imaha ve'al haaretz mitachat einod al kei nekavecha Adonai Eloheinu ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. You maybe see it. Excuse me. Tickle my throat. Darn, I had one more minute and I lost my voice. All right. There we go. Got through it. Sort of. All right. That time of the year. At this time, we're going to think of those who death is recently taken from us, and those who have died in this season in years past, and those who we draw into our hearts with our own as we remember them. If you hear the name of a loved one, I'll invite you to rise upon hearing their name. In the period Shloshim, 30-day period of mourning, we think of Josiah Victor Benader, father of Rachel Benader, and Barbara Bank, a local Jewish person who's laid to rest in our cemetery. And also, we think of all those in Israel who've lost their lives over the last 30 days as a result of terror or in defense of the state of Israel. And this week, we Commemorate the following yortzites, anniversary of the passing of these loved ones. Cora Amter Altman, Elsie Anisman, Lynn Coney Arendt, Helen Arnovitz, Dora Bacalar, Chester K. Barno, Pearl Barrett, Rose Bloom, Franklin Joel Burney, Floyd Eschler, Leon Fleischer, Sarah Francis Fogel, Tony Footer, Harry Frank, Jerome Guerin, Alexandra Gitlin, Gila Glosser, Rennie Gottesman, Betty Gottlieb, Max Hecht, Jenna Hecht, Carol Conrad Kaiser, Patricia Koshian, Mary Letary, Celia Lehr, Arnold Norman Levine, Yetta Mann, Ruth Marcus, Nate Morgan, Morris Pasternak, Angie Petrakis, Harold Perlman, Eleanor Levin Robbins, Benjamin Milton Rowe, Isaac Rose, Max Rosenblatt, William Rubin, Genia Sasankin, Demia Sergeyev, Israel Shapiro, Morris Shapiro, Grigory Shimanovich, Rosa Schwartz, Preston Holt Smith, Boris Sorokin, Samuel Spitz, Rose Axelrod Stone, Richard Stone, and Louis D. Tannenbaum, and Bernard Weiss. If there's a name that you would like to add, I'll invite you to rise and share when I look in your direction. Do you have a name, Medina? And if you are watching on our live stream, I'll invite you to share a name too. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. If you're in mourning or it's your tradition to do so, I'll invite you to rise. We're on page 598. Yikadal v'ikadash shemei rabah be'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute ha'echon uvyom echon uvchaye dehol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvisman kari v'imru amen yehe shmei rabba mivrach le'olam omei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tishbechata v'ne'emata da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom b'mromav huya say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all her mourning. Comfort the bereaved among us. Can we say amen? And at this time we will conclude with, what should we conclude with? How about Ein Keloheinu, page 626. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kimalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Hadoneinu, Mi Himalkeinu, Mi Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. I'll invite you to rise in body or in spirit. We are on page 122 for Kiddush. One second. There we go. ויבוקר יום השישי, ואכלו השמיים והארץ ולסביבה, ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבו ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים ביום השביעי, יקדש אותו כי בושה, ומכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות צברי לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו מצוותיו ורצה בנו. ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנה לנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תהילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בהרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנהלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לכם. And we have challah here, made by our buddy Moshe, makes best chalot around, that you can order from off our website. If you ever want amazing, delicious challah to take home on Shabbos. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lehem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon, Shabbat Shalom. And I hope I see you all during Hanukkah.